Welcome to another broadcast of The Soul of the Everyman on the ArtistFirst Radio Network. All past broadcasts are available in podcast form. Find them at ArtistFirst.com. Have a question or comment for this or any broadcast, you can hit us up at DJ@ArtistFirst.com. And now, here they are, the wise ones, Michael and Margaret Lyons.
The wise ones.
Oh,
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Z-Man. And I am Michael Lyons.
And I'm Margaret.
And we are the wise ones.
Oh, no, we're not. Not.
And we are your hosts this evening on the Soul of the Everyman. And tonight's show is part 2. So you have 27 seconds to go back and listen to part 1. Which was all about Tecumseh and his magical snowblower, and tonight's second half of the Snowblower Follies, we'll be talking about a familiar topic for those of you who are fans of the Soul of the Everyman: death. But not death, not really. Last week, just to kind of reprise very, very quickly, was our show, part 1, was really about living your life. And Tecumseh, who, for those of you who know, but I'll just kind of quickly go through, it was really a very famous warrior and leader of the Indian nation, who led a nearly very successful rebellion against sort of the initial kind of pushback that the Indians were having against the incursion into their lands, and he lived in the kind of the early part of the 19th century, right around the War of 1812, that time. But he was, a gifted, one would almost call him a genius as far as his, the level of his education. You wouldn't have said that he would have had this much insight, but he was a genius in the sense that he had this wonderful philosophical intuition about life. And you can look at some of the things that he wrote and compare them to those of Lao Tzu, or some of the other more of sort of warrior philosophies or warrior treatises, on living your life in essence.
You mean Sun Tzu?
I mean Sun Tzu.
Lao Tzu is...
that other guy.
No. He has to do with the Tao, but okay.
Sun Tzu. I get those guys confused all the time. Anyway, so Sun Tzu or Tecumseh both have this sort of warrior mentality, the warrior philosophy. So we went through the first part of this fairly long quote about how to live your life, and then we really didn't have enough time to go through it. So part 2 is really of a piece with part 1, living your life, but it's recognizing that all of our lives come to an end, and when your life ends, you want it to have had some meaning, and not only some meaning, but you want to have lived your life so completely, to have burned every scintilla of your life so completely that in passing it is no more than a fitting tribute to your life. Your death, in essence, it is certainly the end of your life, but it's not something to be regretted. You've done everything, or you've at least lived every opportunity to the fullest. Whether you finished or not, we could look at Tecumseh's life and say, well, he was sort of a failure. He didn't actually accomplish what he set out to do. But that doesn't matter, because, as we've said many times in the Soul of Everyman, life and the living of it, the journey, is far more important than the goal you accomplish or the end that you get to. We posted, or we will post, or in some future moment, a thing will be posted to the website which will be comprise the second half of Tecumseh's quote. But we're going to go through it a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we will. I think it would be good to read this quote.
You know what? You go and do that because I already messed up Lao Zuzu.
Sun Tzu.
Yeah, that guy.
Okay. When it comes time to die, be not like those whose hearts are filled with the fear of death. So when their time comes, they weep and pray for a little more time to live their lives over again in a different way. Sing your death song and die like a hero going home.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. And that, in essence, sums up the focus and the feel of a life that is being lived on the edge. And when I say on the edge, it means that you understand that death is just a step away.
Mm.
With that, and most people, they don't want to even register that death is even real.
They want to deny it, in fact.
Mm-hmm. You're just like, oh yeah, that's something that I will do eventually.
Or never.
Yeah, kind of like, I need to do the laundry type of thing. I'm going to do that eventually.
Right.
Because you need to. It's like, it's a lot more than that. And stepping into that acknowledgement, that awareness, that really death is a step away. It's your next heartbeat. But just as life is your next heartbeat.
Right.
So what do you choose to do in this present moment? Will you be aware of what is unfolding in front of you and choose according to what you will never regret?
Exactly.
And therein lies the problem. For many of us, you want to choose something that's convenient, but you wind up regretting it later.
Well, and I'd like to go back and reference one of our earlier, or a couple of our earlier shows, when we talk about the experience, and that those experiences of life are the things which are more important than any other thing that you can do. They become that part of that eternity. I'm going to say this wrong, but that eternity bank. What Tecumseh is referring to here is he calls it the death song. Okay, but what it really is the life review, or the summation of who you are, and who you are is not necessarily all the things that you did. Those are part of it, and it's not even all the things you wanted to do, or certainly it's not all the things you didn't get to do. It's each moment lived in the present moment, in the now, that gets put into the eternity bank. It's not the I could have done, should have done, would have done, and I could have done, and oh, I wish I had, and all the regrets. It's not the unrealized future. It's not the regretted past. It's the present moment seized and lived that gets written, onto that life review. That part of you which is eternal, your death song, which gets, if you will, sung at that moment. Let's talk about this in the context of the NDE,
right,
of the near-death experience. Well, let's go with the FDE, the full death experience, the one that you really don't come back from. But both are very similar in the sense that you will live until you die, and when you die, there's a moment. Maybe it's an eternity, but there's a moment at which you get to look back and see where you lived, and where you, instead of living, regretted, or instead of living just, lived in the future into the what would be and what could be. the parts of you which were lived fully are the parts of you that are the most significant, that
Right.
will be part of that death song.
Mm-hmm.
And just as in the life review, and Tecumseh's incredibly pithy statement here, don't be at the end of your life someone who says, "Oh, you know, I just need another few years to figure everything out, and I was almost there. I was going to be there. I was going to have it. I have all these regrets. I have all these." No, I'm sorry that you don't get a do-over. You don't
No,
get a respawn.
no. And that's the truth. I like the analogy of the near-death experience life review as the death song mentioned by Tecumseh, because when that is looked at as your life is a symphony that you're putting together, and whether or not you're able to bring to fullness the full expression of what was put in you.
Mm.
Okay, even if you believe in reincarnation, right, that you get to have another life, you don't get to have this life over again.
Very
Let's
true.
make that really clear, because most people think, oh well, reincarnation, I get to do it over again. It's like, no, this life is singular. This soul is singular. All right. You may, if you're doing the reincarnation, you're embracing that. Your spirit is going into another body, but it's producing another soul.
If I could stop you right there, even if you, just as you say, reincarnation, remember at the end of reincarnation, there is a review, and you get to go maybe all the way back to being, oh, I don't know, a tadpole, because you didn't live this life to the fullest. You have the reincarnation doesn't mean do-over. It means
Right.
you get, yes, your essence, the spirit, the eternal part of you gets re-embodied, but you may be a rock because you didn't do all that good. The song that you sing at the end of this incarnation, if you want to talk about it that way, it has to be melodious and sweet and so well lived that you get to go further. You get to go into an incarnation where you are even more, have even more life to live, perhaps, or even a higher level of life. Maybe you reach enlightenment, you reach nirvana, but you don't get, oh yeah, I wish I had gone for double coupon Tuesdays, in your new life, because oh man, I wish I'd been at double coupon Tuesdays, because no, the people that you're with right now and in relationship with, the opportunities and the things you get to live in this incarnation are never happening again. The eternal now is not to be denied or trifled with.
Right.
You don't get a new now. You
Right.
get now and now and now and now. And those are gone. And if you didn't live them, they don't get added to your song. And if your song is a paltry little, well, I would have gone da 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 da, you're rock. Grasshopper, worm.
Well, that kind of thinking is how this, as humans, we get upset with concepts of people who are actually hurting other people and being miserable, disrespectful of everything around them, and destroying, killing randomly. Just it strikes at your heart. It's like, no, that's evil. And in the concept of reincarnation, you get reborn into the realm of like rock when that happens, because your frequency was so low that we can only start maybe at insect, or no, plant. Maybe you get plant, single cell, something, no thought.
Right.
And then, but that's that one particular way of looking at things. Now, if you take it in terms of Christianity, you are looking at your lifetime as unique and important. and to appreciate that. You don't need to say, okay, well, I was this or that. It doesn't matter. This is moment right now, and how you are loving the people around you is what matters. That's the core of it. And now, it doesn't mean that you're winning brownie points in heaven, mind you. Okay, that has nothing to do with it. What we're talking about is whether or not you've come to a point where what was put inside of you comes to fruition. What was put inside of you, your spirit, blossoms, and you are able to express in fullness, fully human individual in your particular life. So you are aware and have incorporated your spirit with your body and your soul. Right? And your soul has to do with what you're thinking and what you're feeling and your emotions. Incorporating all of that as a fully human being. It was something that I remember talking to the boys about. That your aim in this life is to become fully human. And you are not just fully human when, you're basically indulging what your body wants. You're not sharing.
Well, yeah. But to go back a little bit towards Tecumseh, I mean, that idea of an NDE, that idea that at the end of life, your life song, your death song, call it what you wish, because it's really the same thing. The song of you is listened to. It's either listened to by the All Spirit or it's listened to by God. And the folks that, let's go back to actual NDEs, not FDEs, not people who die and go on, but people who do get the opportunity to come back. Almost every one of them, without fail, is profoundly changed by the experience.
Yes.
Because they realize two things. They realize, first of all, that the parts of their life that were not fully lived were holes in their soul, were opportunities that they were never going to get back, and that the fact that they got that second chance, that in essence they said, well, you know what? Here's your life review. Here's what's going to happen when you actually die, but your life's not over. You do have more to do. You go back. You can't get back. None of them come back and say, yes, I got to do everything over again. No. They said, gosh, I was given the incredible grace that to tell me that the parts of my life that I thought were important were incredibly unimportant, and that living in the past, living in the future was a waste of my energy, time, life, and the parts that I needed to concentrate on were living in the now. We're living life to the fullest. We're changing what I was focusing on, and losing all the fear of the death, and realizing that there's no fear in death. There's fear in not living life.
That's the truth, right there. That's the truth. Because death is just the body can no longer maintain that function, that connection with the spirit and the soul. Got to go on. But the fear is, oh gosh, I didn't do this. I always wanted to do this. Or, I thought I would be able to. With the life review, people come back realizing, my perspective was all wrong.
Exactly.
I thought money was important. I thought power was important. I thought prestige was important. I wanted everybody to know who and what I was doing all the time. When you come back, you're like, that doesn't mean anything.
No.
That was all surface detritus floating around. I never dove deep into the waters. And if I dive deep into the waters, what is revealed to me? Because you're diving deep into your existence. Your existence is so deep. What are you touching into? And the miracle is that you can actually touch into other people's lives and dive deep with them into life. Isn't that what you came here to do?
The illusion is stripped away. You see, the life review, what these people have come back to give us testimony, besides their own lives being changed, they've changed hundreds of millions, hundreds of thousands of other people, maybe millions. But certainly people who have learned of these NDEs, and some of these experiences have been profound.
Yeah.
And people have had the calling to write about them. You realize that there's no fear in death. There's fear in not living life. There's this amazing opportunity that we're wasting by playing with the illusion and not doing what you just said, which is diving deep into the existence of life, into the eternal mystery of now. Because now is gone. Every instant of every moment of everything, every instant moment is a moment to be lived and to write another infinitesimal note of your life song. And then you get to the end of this particular carnal incorporation, and something, you can believe as you wish, but something hears that song. That song is something that you got to be prepared to present. And these folks know when they're in the NDE, they know that they've got to give an accounting. We always thought we were taught, there's a reckoning at the end of life, and it's like, so we're going to tote up all your things, and you're 76% good and 37% bad. Well, I guess you're okay then. No, I mean that's a simplistic way of looking at it, but there is a reckoning of your life, and really it comes down to, it's more akin to what things of value did you do, and it's not I was a CPA, or I was a famous person. Those things are all dross. Everything you do that plays with the illusion is exactly that. It's illusory and it's insubstantial. And if the points of life that are part of your life song are strong and vibrant and complete and whole, you've got incredible value. Your life song is, as you said, a symphony. But if you just got this little kazoo noodle, I did this, you're like, and you realize at that point that you, not only have you spent your life, unfortunately, in doing almost nothing, but you don't get to go back. You're in the FDE, the full death experience, And if you're just so lucky, to realize through this NDE, and so few actually have this experience, it's 1 in a million, who is 1 in 100,000, who knows, you might get the chance to change the way you're doing things. But take the lesson.
Yes. Because when you are composing your life, and that sounds like you're sitting there and writing down the notes of what you're doing. No. You are the song.
Perfect.
So your being state, how you approach every situation in your life, creates parts of this song. And how do you engage in a symphonic experience? But only by love. Love is the way. And it's been so tritely used.
It's true.
But it's understanding that when you are being in love with life, your flame begins to burn brightly. There was even I don't want to misquote the biblical verse, but it has to do with if you say to this mountain, jump, and it jumps, and if you're able to speak with the word of angels, but not love, you're nothing but what was a tinkling cymbal?
Something like that.
It's like a broken sound. It means nothing. You can do all these things, but you do not love. Then the sound is hollow. No depth.
I'd also say that, your analogy also, I would say, is exactly this, is that as your being state, as you live and you are being, the symphony is you. You are the symphony. And you always talk about, the frequency of your energy. Well, the frequency of your energy writes your song, and to the extent that it's high and complete and engaged in the now is to the extent that your song will be sweet. We're all going to get to sing our song, and it better not be something like, the Rickroll or the elevator music.
Oh, gosh. Can you imagine going through an NDE and suddenly the girl from Ipanema comes up?
Exactly. And then right there you have wasted your whole life. And you're like, man, just take me away.
It's like, oh, man, what did I do with this?
What do I do? But no, I really do. I think what we always talk about, in essence, being in the moment and attuning, using your life force to, in essence, focus your energy and get the resonance of your energy higher. Move your frequency up, and that's you. You are the song. You are not writing it down. You are not the girl from Ipanema. You are the song that you are writing every moment of every moment of your life. Gets put into that, that memory, that eternity bank.
I'd like to sort of take it a step further and say that it's the purity of the note. A lot of static is usually going on when you're concerned about stuff down here. Your life is lived so that you can hit the purity of the song that you are.
And when you're doing it because of the resonance.
Correct.
And now we're going to take an incredibly resonant break into the studio, and we're going to think about these things and come back, and after this commercial break, we'll talk more about death.
Rick Riordan fans, love mythology with plenty of action and humor? Destroyer's Blood is for you. The new fantasy novel by award-winning author Michael Lines is book 1 of the adventures of Dev Kalian, the Blood series. Follow Dev and his magic sword Betrayer as they are suddenly attacked and forced to return to Olympus to fight in a war they want no part in. The world of men and gods is about to be destroyed by Zeus's ancient foe, and only Dev and Trey can stop him. The conflict never stops, and the amazing twist will have you on the edge of your seat. Act now while the ebook is on sale for only 99 cents. Destroyer's Blood is available on Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, iTunes, Kobo, and fine e-tailers everywhere. And while you're there, get the free prequel, It's in the Blood, available for a limited time.
The Timeless Esoterica radio program with Dr. Bruce is broadcast on the fourth Monday of every month at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern on ArtistFirst.com. We explore topics including the paranormal, alien life, mysteries, conspiracies, hidden history, oddities, and much more. Each show will feature a special guest with exciting and thought-provoking discussion. Always keep an open mind, an open heart, live forever, And remember, Dr. Bruce believes in you.
There is a Reaper is the story of 5-year-old Christopher Aaron and his life-changing struggle with leukemia. Winner of both the Indy Bragg Medallion as well as the reader's favorite silver medal for memoir, There is a Reaper has more than 100 Amazon book reviews and a 5-star rating. It has been described as life-changing, spiritual, a must-read. Just released on Audible and iTunes, this memoir is also available in paperback and on Amazon Kindle for only 99 cents. Get your copy of this life-changing memoir today.
Hi, this is Minette Lauren, author of Race for the Sun. Do you believe in guardian angels? Check out Book 1 of my Soul Watcher series. It can be found on Amazon.com or anywhere fine books are sold. Go to www.minettelauren.com, and you are listening to the ArtistFirst Radio Network.
The Fat Man Gets Out of Bed is the latest book from Michael Lyons, the award-winning author of There is a Reaper. Featuring 13 original stories, this wide-ranging collection has everything. Forbidden love, gods versus demigods, weird invading aliens, sexy seductive artificial intelligence, and unusual passion between the living and the dead. All set amidst fantastic worlds of pain and loss and boundless joy. From the sublime to the macabre to the bittersweet, The Fat Man Gets Out of Bed will leave you breathless with laughter, brimming with tears, trembling with suspense. Available now on Amazon.com, Google Play, iTunes, Kobo, and fine e-tailers everywhere.
You are listening to The Soul of the Everyman on Artist First World Radio. Back to your hosts, Michael and Margaret Lyons.
Thank you very much, D-Man. And we are back, and this is the second half of the Soul of the Everyman, and the bottom half of the top half of the hour. I can never figure that out, but you guys figure that out. Just go home and do like some sort of charts or geometry or something. Anyway, so and tonight's show, like many of our shows, is about death. But we find it a fascinating topic, and I think many people do as well. And in fact, this is part 2 of our show that we started talking about a quote from the somewhat famous Indian leader Tecumseh. But I think what we found is that this particular passage where Tecumseh is really talking about both how to live your life and how to look at the end of life as being, in essence, your, it's inevitable, and it's also something not to be feared, but to be to be looked upon as the culmination and the review of what you did in life. Not something where you say, well, if only I had a few more minutes, or I had a few more lives, or a few more opportunities. He looks at this in the exact correct way, and we've been talking about it a little bit in the first half hour, is that life lived every moment means that when you come, and we talked about the quote a little bit, when you come to the end of life, you will, his last line is incredibly poignant. He says, sing your death song or sing your life song and die like a hero going home. Now, that's an incredibly poignant and evocative image, but take it apart for a second. Sing your life song. So here you are. You are in front of the eternal and having to give an account. There's an accounting. It's not a judgment. It's an accounting. It's a what have you done? And your life song should be you. It should be the symphony of you. It should be rich and full and vibrant. This is me. But instead, you have this little tootly kazoo and go, boop, boop, I was an accountant. That's bad. And what he's really saying is die like a hero. If you die like a hero, you had to live like a hero. Which means, and how do heroes live? We all know how heroes live. Heroes live heroic lives. They They live every moment because every moment means something. It's important. And it's important for the people who are around you, and it's important mostly for you because you have to be Joseph Campbell. Be the hero. Be the hero of your life. That was Campbell. And it's Tecumseh and the snowblower. It's you have to be the hero. Now, that doesn't mean you get to read about or think about or want to be, or being, right? Being the hero means living like a hero. And only heroes, and we all can be heroes of our own life. We are all called to be heroes, of our own lives. You are going to sing your life song and die like a hero without regrets, and that's the first part of his incredibly poignant passage here, is die without regrets. And you're going where? You're going home. You're not going to some weird, ethereal nonsense place. You're going home. You're going back to spirit, back to the eternal, carrying this incredible symphony of this incarnation. That's the point. Is that you are poof, the breath of life put into your body. You're incarnated, wow, and you know it. You've seen an infant; they're so full of the incredible moment of now. You've seen children, 2-year-olds; they are so full of the incredible moment of, gosh, I got to get a cookie right now, and then we lose it. We get bound up in the illusion, and Tecumseh is saying, no, be the 2-year-old going for the cookie. You're the hero of this particular moment, and you go through your whole life as that hero, singing that song all your life, so that at the end you're just going home with this incredible symphony. And who are you playing it for? Everyone else. The whole of spirit wants to hear your song, and it isn't, I was an accountant, go back or get out of here. No, it's God, wow, this incredible symphony of a life that was bead, and now it's ended, but it's a heroic song. It's like those Norse Eddas, with all those fat women in cow hats. Those Norse Eddas screaming. That's heroic,
Oh my God.
Tecumseh is showing us here something which is incredibly true and powerful, is that you don't get to the end of your life with a bunch of regrets. Right. And a poor, toneless song. You come with this aria of life. And if you've had, if you've read about these people who have these NDEs, if their aria of life seems poor to them, they understand it at that moment, and they understand that they have to go back. And they don't get any of those moments back, but they have today, now, and everywhere else, the rest of your life to do it.
Right. And what I find fascinating is they all say a very similar thing. I saw what was happening and what would happen if I wasn't there. And I realized I wasn't done yet. Which means that you knew what you were getting into when you first came down.
Very true.
And that I find fascinating.
I mean, that's all throughout human culture, is that you're incarnated. Poof, your life is, your breath is put into a body, but you made a contract of sorts. You didn't come down here just to say, well, let's see what happens. No, you have a purpose, and we all know that we have a purpose, and that when our song is being sung in the being state, we're doing our purpose. We're purposing. We're
Well, you're focused where you need work in your heart. We come down here to be able to love purely, and let's face it, you got a long way to go when you're just interacting with normal people. There is no love there as a human being. You're just like, oh, really, oh. But if you allow your spirit to come in and feed your soul, you realize there is more that this person that's annoying me, there's more that we have in common than I really want to admit.
Well, yeah.
So I have to forgive it, even though, you may not. Let's say you want to say, well, I don't like that. It's like, well, really, what does that matter?
Hmm.
You're not here to like or dislike things. You're down here to chip away at your stony heart and allow God's grace to come in, soften it, and really begin to love and burn. Let your soul burn with that love. That's why we're down here. That's why there's all these romantic stories that women have these wonderful romantic notions on who they're supposed to be falling in love with, and actually I believe men do as well. They're looking for someone to pour their love into.
Exactly. And that's the purpose. That's the point.
Mm-hmm. And when you realize that you're here to love, it changes things. Your perspective changes because you don't get this chance again, this particular lifetime, with the people that you were with. You don't get that combination again. So, are you engaging heart to heart with the person? I think there's nothing more frustrating than when your heart is open and you want to be able to have an open, honest relationship, conversation with someone that is in your family, usually.
Well, yes.
I mean, that's the truth. The people that drive you crazy, there's a reason.
Another show.
That's another show. But when you cannot open that door of communication heart to heart, frustration rises. Frustration of like, hear me. I just want to communicate with you. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Do you understand what's behind the words? Because sometimes words are a blockade to that communication, depending upon the person, mind you.
Well, and this is a purpose, but all those moments, even of trying to, in the being state to communicate, are living your life in the burning moment. You're there. You're not there when you're dealing in the illusion, when it's just playing the games of well, if this would have happened, or that would have happened, or playing the games of regret, or playing the games of just this illusory what we call success or politics, or just your life lived in these sort of airy pursuits doesn't add anything to that, to the soul. To even in frustration, a life where you're trying to burn and trying to communicate, trying to be heard, looking for the spark, looking for the relationship in others, is living that life in the now. You're not regretting. You're still trying. We use Mother Teresa a lot because she's a very well-known figure. Much of her life, she lived in a state of tremendous frustration because she thought that no matter what I do, it never seems to get any better. And you know what? It didn't. She took on, and many people who are far less famous take on these intractable problems because she felt it was her purpose. Well, the life song that soul gets to sing is that I spent my whole life at the burning point of trying to cure an intractable problem like poverty.
Mm.
And I failed. But guess what? That doesn't mean a darn. Failing at that purpose means nothing. It's that you stayed on it and lived it every moment of the day and made it your purpose and your calling and poured yourself into it and found, no matter what, if there was 100,000 you couldn't help, you helped 1,000. Well, that being state is the song that she got to sing.
Right.
And talk about a person going home as a hero.
Yes.
That you living Campbell's heroic life doesn't mean having a gigantic broadsword and charging off after demons or something. That's great if you can do it. If that's your purpose in life, go
for it.
But the life lived at the burning point can be incredibly short.
Yes.
It could be a life of 8 years that you spend in half of it in a cancer ward, but that doesn't mean anything, because the temporal way of judging success is tootling your kazoo of your song of life. The burning way of judging if your life is being lived with the purpose you came down here for has nothing to do with time, or with the amount of money you have, or with the titles you got, or any of that stuff. In most cases, it has to do with how you saw your frequency of your soul interacting with the people around you and the things that you needed to interact with at the highest frequency possible, and then writing it down on that eternal ledger, that eternal score that is your soul, your life. And then somebody says, sing me the song of your life, and it's a symphony so sweet and so encompassing that everyone within earshot has to sit down and listen.
And understanding that your being is that song, that life song, or that death song, however you want to look at it. And you bring that life back to the eternal.
Yes.
Okay? People want to say, well, this is my life and I do what I want to do. Well, yeah, it's true. But when you go to the eternal, you are singing that song as a gift to everyone around you. And that shifts things completely. Because that gifting is so precious.
Well, I think you need to say that again. That's such an incredibly perfect way of putting it. You're given the life, like the talents, and you're supposed to do something with it. And you're supposed to magnify it, beautify it. In the beginning of Tecumseh's statement, it was beautify your life means that, pull in every sweetness and every way of burning and write that into your song, and then you bring it back. When you, again, the last thing, die like a hero going home. Well, you're bringing back, you're going home, and everyone there is glad to see you, but they want to hear whatever you brought back. You were sent out with incredible potential and wonderful promise. You look at every infant you've ever seen. Incredible potential, wonderful promise. And you've got to prosecute it. It's not easy. Anyone who tells you that life is easy and all you got to do is trying to sell you something. But you go back and you are that hero if you've got that song to sing. And, we've been privileged to know a few heroes.
Yes.
And, their songs echo in the eternal, and they echo in the ephemeral, in the temporal, and they remain in the memories of those here and those there.
Point I'd like to make is that understanding that this world that we're living in right now is imperfect. And because it's imperfect, you are always presented with opportunities to become a hero.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously.
Yeah.
People want to believe that being a hero means you're doing these great things that everybody's acknowledging. It's like, no.
These grand gestures.
Yes. Hero is apparent in the smallest of gestures, smallest of things. You don't even have to say a word to be heroic, to understand what that means. Because the hero understands how precious, how important life actually is.
And it's moment to moment.
Yes. You're not planning in the future that I'll be great in that moment, I'll be a hero in that moment. So no. The moment presents itself. Life presents itself now, surrounding you. What is your decision at this point? That is what is being presented to you. How do you choose to engage in this moment? It's not how you think about the moment or how you happen to feel in the moment.
Whether you like the moment or not.
Right. It has nothing to do with that. How are you engaging in this moment? Are you opening your heart and following through what you know internally needs to be done? Because your heart will tell you exactly the truth and what needs to be done. And sometimes it means refraining from saying a word.
Well, and right there, if you wouldn't mind repeating that, what will guide you in being a hero and singing your song, but your heart, not your head. Your head will tell you all kinds of silly things.
Yes, your head will tell you anything as long as you're listening to it. Your ego. Right. Seriously, your ego will tell you anything you want to hear as long as you're listening to it. That's what it wants.
Right.
Seriously. What is all this media stuff? It's somebody needs to listen to me. Yeah. That's the whole thing. Understanding that your heart, if you allow it to open up in this moment, it will tell you what is needed right now, regardless of whether or not there are social repercussions or physical repercussions to it. It's like, what is your heart telling you right in this moment? And the heroes that wind up putting their life on the line to save another's life, they know. And it doesn't matter what's going on in the outside world, and it doesn't even matter what I want. I must focus on this. I have to save this person. This is important. Life is important.
Well, yes, and as you said, the whisperings of the heart followed are the song that you're going to be writing, and that's your hero. That's your life song, death song. Your life song is scored by the heart. It is not judged. The head loves to judge. Leave the head out of it. Get the head right out of it. The heart is where the hero lies, where the hero lives.
And that's where your courage abides in.
Courage.
You know, if you open your heart, the courage is always there to follow through. If you allow your head to take charge, it's going to try to reason you out of making that choice. But then you have nothing but regret for the rest of your life.
Well,
that's where true regret comes into play. Yeah. And imagine it in terms of your own life song. You know, when time comes to review, that regret is going to come at you sevenfold. You are going to see it from not only your eyes, but the eyes of the person you were sent for, as well as everyone else who happens to be watching, and then the repercussions of what that task of not doing it did for that person and the people that they're connected with, and what it did for you and the people that you are connected with. It's a ripple in a pond that goes out and out and out. Every moment of now.
Well, yeah, and some of those NDEs exactly, folks who have come back from that have said exactly that. The wonderful, precious gift of these folks who have had the life review but yet got to come back because they weren't done yet is to show that the interconnectedness of us is also part of the song. Mm-hmm. And again, that to live every life, that burning moment, to follow your heart, follow your bliss, be the hero, has nothing to do with whether anybody knows, has nothing to do with whether or not anyone approves or disapproves or likes or doesn't like. These are all the head things. But yet, when you get to sing your life song, and you will, it will be a grand symphony of you. And it'll be the fulfillment of your purpose that you
the purpose that you were given
right
by God right into the heart of who you are is expressed. There's nothing more fulfilling than that. And understanding that you are gifting back what life you were given in this timeline, and the way you gift it back is by reviewing, singing what you have done in this life. It's understanding, too, that, again, I'm going back to it, loving unconditionally is where you can engage in that purity of song.
Yeah.
And the only way that happens is if you allow yourself to receive that divine love to give out.
It's true, and all this, all this is in some way encapsulated in this wonderful. It's almost a poem. It wasn't a poem. It wasn't meant to be a poem, but it comes as reading. So I would recommend that you take a look at it and think about it a little bit, and realize that as the hero of your own life, and that's what Campbell called us to be, the hero of our own lives. You get to choose every moment. Don't sit there and say, gosh, I've wasted my whole life. Well, guess what? You still have at least 10 more minutes. Be the hero for those last 10 minutes.
Right. And we have so many examples of heroes. I mean, let's face it, Jesus is a perfect example of giving his life for others.
Yes.
That's what heroes do. So when in doubt, open your heart, breathe in the courage, then you can make your decision.
Right, and write your hero song.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we've sung all the songs we can about death, and next week we'll have a different topic, I promise. It'll be not death. Anyway, this has been The Soul of Everyman. I'm Michael Lyons.
And I'm Margaret. And thank you for listening.